All right, so we've centered our website. Now let's get to the really fun part of adding a table that has our navigation links, and we're going to start creating anchor links. So let me explain what anchor links are, and then we'll get into them. So an anchor link is basically when you add a little pin inside your website, and then you jump to that pin in the same page. So because we're creating only a one-page website, it's only one page, we need to be able to jump to the different sections of that page so that when someone's up here and they want to hit contact, they can click contact and then it will jump down to that page. That's what an anchor link is. So instead of like an HTML link that takes us to a new page and changes the whole look, this just jumps within a page. That's all it is. They're very easy to understand. Essentially, they're just this A tag. So instead of like div, it's like an A instead. But it's the same thing. You basically create like a little box link and you give it a name, and then you link to it using a regular HTML link for the code, which is the href, or href, I should say, not href. It's very easy. We're gonna get to that in a second. But first, let's actually try to create a table for our navigation. So it's pretty simple because we're only creating a table with one row that has 3 data cells in it, and in each of those data cells, we will have the information. So if we look at the HTML W3 schools, you can go to tables to kind of take a peek at it and understand. Here's a nice table. But all we're creating is this first row. So it's a very, very, very simple table, and you don't have to stress about it. So let's go take a crack at that. So we're going to come back and forth to this code. But you can see the code is just table, close table, and then these TR tags are the rows, so table row, TR, and these TD tags are table data, so a data cell. This TH tag is a table header, so you can see that this bolder section up here is the table headers. These are our TRs, table rows, and these are our TDs, table data cells. So pretty simple. Ours is going to look way simpler than this. So let's go try and type that in while this is our reference. So let's go to our actual travel site, and let's scoot on down to our code. Okay, so now that we've created this container section, we don't want to put anything above it. So I'm actually going to hit enter a couple times just so that you guys, when you see it, you will not be tempted to put anything in between it that's not supposed to be there. The container has to wrap everything. We also know that we want our navigation to be under our header, since that makes a lot of sense. If we look at the site, we don't want our navigation above it. We want it in between these two divs. So we're going to come in between the header and the welcome section div, and we're going to create, you guessed it, a new div. So we're going to write div. I'm going to give it an ID so I know what it is later, and this one's going to be called nav, and I'm going to close it. Perfect. I now have a navigation div. Now inside that div, I probably could just add the table, but I just put everything in divs. Maybe some web coder is going to watch this video one day and think I'm an idiot, and they'll probably be right. But I made a div. I just like it. Here's an ID. Now let's add our table. So I'm going to open it up just to make some space. And instead, let's go back to our little reference code here, and let's copy what we see. So I'm going to type table, and then I can actually just give it a width, I think, but let's start like that. Let's see what happens. Let's not make it too complicated. So we got table and table. I think actually maybe we will do width, and we'll make the width, well, no, let's do that with style. Let's mess with that later. So we got our table. We're going to open our table, and now we just need to make a table row. So TR makes a table row. Open that up. I'm just kind of trying keeping things open. And inside our table row, we need to make 3 table data cells. So we could make them actually table header cells probably. Let's try that. I haven't done that before. So TH. And this time I'm actually going to type the words I want in there so that I can see them. So table header 1 is going to be welcome. We'll call that welcome. Let's make the next one. So TH. It already closed it up for me. Let's make the next one gallery. just like the sections that we already have. And let's make one more table header row, or table header section. And we're going to call this one, you guessed it, contact. So now let's take a little peek at what we have here. So we have a table, and inside that table is one row, and inside that row is 3 little table header cells. So let's take a look at what that looks like and kind of see what happens. And I have a feeling that I know what it's going to look like, and that's what it looks like. The reason it looks like this is there's no styling applied yet. So we're going to have to style these and kind of adjust their spacing. But you can see that did work. That wasn't too complicated, right? Table, row, table header, sections in there. So now we just need to give it some styling. And let's take a look. There's probably, it looks like you can actually add the style right into it, but I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to give the table a name. So here we go. HTML table, adding a border, HTML table, collapsed borders, adding cell padding, etc. So it looks like, because table's kind of like a master object in the same way that body, if you remember, is a master object, we should be able to type in table up here, I have a feeling, and write the class rule for it pretty easily. So I'm going to put the table underneath the header because that makes sense. So let's try table, and we're just going to check by adding a background color to see if I'm correct in my assumption. So background, purple, save it, and that worked. Okay, so by adding that rule up here, we were able to add a background color. So let's add a width now. So width, 1000 pixels, since that's the width of everything. So let's save that. Ta-da! And that was it. Look how easy that was. So it automatically, because the table width was spread out, it just evenly divided the width between the cells. And now we have a very nice little table with our nav in it. See? Be proud of yourself. I like it. Okay, so we could also change probably, I'm going to leave it this weird purple color. That's fine with me. Eggplant, whatever. I am going to change the text color. So if you remember, to change the text color, you just type color, which seems counterintuitive because you think that would be the background color, but it's not. And we're going to make it white. Save it. Ta-da! That was easy. That was your nav section. We just wrote a table rule that looks like this. Pause it if you need that. And then we scroll down here. And this is all the code we wrote. So let me move my div tag up. And I'm actually going to scoot that over just so I can see it better. This is the code we just wrote. That's it. The code comes underneath the header div and above the welcome section div. So go back through and check to make sure your boxes are properly closed. And that's all you have to write. Table, table row, table header, table header, table header, table row, table div. That's it. So that's how we add our table. Now we need to look into how to do our anchor links. So when we want to link something, we have to use the href or the href property. So HTML reference is, I think, what they're trying to refer to. So this is what it actually looks like. So when you click on something, it says a href, so anchor link reference this section anchor link. So this is how you add the little link. But I think what we want to do is let's just add our anchor links, and then we'll come back and we'll add our link. So here, this is actually, I just Googled the code anchor links, but if you come over here into our friend, W3 Schools, I guarantee we can find anchor links over here somewhere. It's probably somewhere. Let's search. Because I like the way that they write things. It's pretty. HTML.anchor object, anchor target property. Can I type anchor link? Maybe that'll be better. I have a feeling one of those was probably right. HTML links. Nope, let's go back to anchor. It looks like it's searching on Google. Let me just go back like this. Anchor links, W3 Schools. And I guarantee they're going to teach me something. Okay, so a tag. There we go. Oop. Okay, so let's look at it on here because I think even though it's a video, you can always pause it and look at this. But this is an example to an anchor link. A HR reference, the website, visit W3 Schools, anchor. So the A tag defines a hyperlink, which is used to link from one page to another, and then we can kind of add our anchors into the code. So let's go back and let's do that. Let's look at my Parasite and see kind of how I did it in here, and then we'll refer back. So that's the CSS. Let's actually look at it. So I'm going to find my one. Here we go. So here's an anchor tag, and this is how it works. Basically, it's like a div tag, except you can give it a name. It's the same kind of thing, and then it will jump to this when you refer to this later in your link. So that's the anchor tag. So A, and then close the A, and let's go look at what the link looks like up here. So somewhere in our nav, let's find our navigation. So here's our navigation table here, and you can see here's our table data cells that to reference it, all we have to do is type that. So A, href, whatever we're trying to get to, and then down there. So in this case, we don't have to do a website. We can actually do the code for the location. So I know that just sounded really confusing, but let's actually just go do it. So let's look at that one more time. Here's our link, A, name, etc. So let's do that. I'm going to go into my code, and for now, I'm just going to add the anchors, and then we're going to link to them afterwards. So I need to figure out where I want to put them, and that has to do with our section. So let's go find each section and then just add an A link either right above it or like right inside it. So here's my gallery section, here's my welcome section, here's my contact section. Let's start above the welcome section. So div ID welcome section, A, name, space name, not main, name equals, and then we got to give this one a name. So we'll call this welcome link, close that, and close that. So there is our first anchor link. Very, very easy. It's just like div, except we put name. Now let's do the next one. So a name equals quotes, and we'll call this one gallery link. Close that, and that's closed. Now we add one more, a name equals contact link. And I'm giving them the name link just so I'll remember what I'm trying to get to here, and then close that up. We now have our 3 anchors set. If we look at our site, nothing will have happened because those are invisible, secret things. So now we have to link to them. So we're going to create our hyperlink. So let's look at hyperlink code. That should be right here. So here's our hyperlink code, just like this. And all we have to do is wrap it around whatever we're trying to make a link. All right, let's go back. Hopefully I remembered this correctly. Let's go back, find our table. Table. Oh, I went too far. It's right there. Okay. So now we just need to add the link around the text. So we should be able to type a ref, and I think, is it quotes next or is it equals? See, this is why I need to look. I can't remember all these things. Let's scroll back up. I'm going to look really dumb in this video, but that's totally cool because that's natural when you're coding. Okay, so it is equals. I just need a quote. I kind of remembered. Didn't really totally remember it. So href equals quotes, and then we should be able to just type in those links. So it should be welcome link, quote, close that, and then you can see it tried to close it. We just want to make sure that the closing tag is on the other side of the text that we want to link. So let's go like this, /a. We now have a link around welcome. Let's check and see if that works, and if I remembered that correctly, it's going to be a miracle if I did, but let's double click here. You can see it is now a hyperlink. It gave itself a weird style, so we're going to have to fix that. But you can see it didn't go to the right spot. We're going to fix that too. So let me stop this real quick here, and I'm going to correct that, and we're going to come back so I can